Hello and welcome to the Candlelight Podcast, where I, Mohamed Abdalla, talk about different topics, including some of my favorites, which are movies, martial arts, and philosophy. And speaking of martial arts, we're starting off this podcast with a quote from one of the greatest martial artists of all time, Daniel Cormier, DC, the double champ, the Olympic level wrestler, the guy that, you know, dominated two divisions basically. This guy's awesome. He did amazing for himself at his career before retirement. So, with that said, he really needs no introduction. By the way, if you're into the world of MMA, DC Daniel Cormier is one of the legends of MMA. When I say legends, I mean top 10 greats. He's that good. He's, in my opinion, the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time. The greatest light heavyweight fighter of all time. Yes, there is John Jones, but steroids. That's it. No more needs to be said. Anyway, going back, we got a quote from him, DC himself, this week's in this week's episode. This quote actually is derived from when he was speaking on, well, because he has a podcast. Well, he had a podcast with Ariel Helwani before ESPN's contract with Helwani expired. They had a podcast that they did together, which was DC and Helwani, and he uttered this really profound phrase. I won't say profound, but it's kind of obvious, but it's really important to know. Daniel Cormier said, "You don't get to the moon by yourself." Now, he was referring to, obviously, you don't get to great success, and reach peaks in your life by yourself. You need people to help you. You need a helpful environment. For example, because Daniel is a mixed martial artist and MMA fighter, he had to have his team. He had to have AKA the American Kickboxing Academy, where he was coached and trained, where he pushed through his limits with his coaches. The coach Javier Mendez, the legendary coach, where he overcame so much to become champion. This, he obviously exemplifies this quote, him being a double champion in the highest tier of mixed martial arts in history so far. He's become the double champ. He's beat everyone they put in his way except for a roid user. That's it. He's defeated everyone he's ever stepped foot in the octagon with. This guy, when he says it, when he said that, I kind of knew about this. I kind of understood this concept before because, when I was, trying to achieve my own goals, such as, for example, going to the gym consistently, working out and exercising, being in good shape, I tended to fail most times because I didn't have, the supportive environment, because I used to go alone. But I never went, regularly with anyone. I'd say my success came when I had a big goal to look forward to, such as, a marathon that I needed to run, or the biggest one was when I joined the military. Before I joined the military for about a year, I exercised hard and I had drive because I had a goal in front of me, and I did well. I did really well. I got into great shape. But after that, after serving in the military, I kind of, was inconsistent with my training because, I didn't have that major goal. Also, I didn't have the support environment that would push me when I needed to be pushed. So, as of this week, actually, as of last week, rather, I signed up to the gym that my brother goes to so that we can go together and hopefully reach our goals there together, help each other out. Hopefully go, we're going to try to schedule at least to go together at the same time to be able to do, the workouts there together and push ourselves. So that's, something that I realized, that you don't get to the moon by yourself. And it was beautifully coined here by Mr. Cormier. It's a profound quote. It's not really profound. I already called it profound, and I kind of went back at that statement because it's something that's just out there. It's just direct and right there. It's not profound in the sense that Well, maybe it is profound. Let's actually look up the meaning of profound. I keep saying it now, and I'm trying to see if I can put this quote within that, within that frame. Okay, profound, having or showing great knowledge or insight. Well, I mean, yeah, it does show great knowledge and insight. He's the one who's saying it, and he's the one who actually lived it. So I guess it is profound at the end of the day. Anywho, yeah. So that was, what I was thinking about. You don't get to the moon by yourself. You want to achieve your goals. Not only do you have to, be willing to, you also need a supportive environment. And I also noticed whenever I have a, something that's. Oh, one second. I think there is water dripping from my AC onto my computer. Let me just move it right quickly, a little bit. Okay, so yeah, there's water dripping from the AC. Anywho, so yeah, I think I should really surround myself with positive people that kind of help me achieve my goals. Not rather just talk to friends about me going to the gym, but rather go with people that I know are gonna help me, like my brother. So Allah wafaqna. Hopefully, we're gonna do good. Moving on. Hey guys, remember I had this segment, weeks back on the episode where I talked about, interesting stories, crazy stories that should be made into movies. Crazy, interesting personalities that existed throughout history that were, just a very extraordinary thing. It's like a very out of the ordinary, people, characters who I feel like should be, recognized more. Well, we have a new name on that list, which is Lapo Lapo. A person who's well known in the Philippines already, I think. He's recognized there, but not really much anywhere else. Lapo Lapo is a basically a Filipino hero who truly existed. He's not like a legend or a folklore hero, but rather, a person who actually existed who's, who's known for, fighting back against the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. Because Magellan, the explorer, the famous explorer. Whenever you talk about exploring and discovering and sailing the seas, you talk about Magellan and how he went, across the world to basically discover and voyage. But rather, he wasn't really exactly a good person by my, estimate, because he used to pillage when he went out into the seas and when he reached other lands. So a good example of this was when he went to the Philippines. He actually tried, to obviously take advantage of the new land that he was in, claim it for the Portuguese king or something, whatever they did back then. Whatever they did back then. That's exactly what they did back then. Claim it for the European country that they came from, usually. So Lapu Lapu was there with his group of warriors, with his tribe, and they fought back and defeated the forces of the Portuguese explorer Magellan. This was awesome. This is an interesting story, not only simply because that Lapu Lapu, was a warrior that fought back against foreign invaders. No, that story is been repeated a lot in history. Rather, I find his particular story interesting. Is why I find it interesting is not only was he, that kind of revolutionary, he was a Filipino at the time. If the 16th century, who happened to be Muslim. Someone that far back in the Philippines in time was actually a Muslim. Yeah, it's actually interesting how the religion actually, reached him. Oh, by the way, this is actually, we don't know for sure, for 100% fact that he was Muslim, but, that's what he, that's what the evidence suggests, that the very, not too reliable evidence suggests. It's the kind of evidence that we have of almost everything in Western history. It's like not too reliable, but it's good enough. So yeah, apparently this was a Muslim person, figure living in Philippines. He was Filipino, obviously, and he fought back against the foreign European invaders, which was actually very common. Being a European invader was something that's known during the 16th and 17th centuries and so on. So very interesting character, very interesting figure that existed. Uh, but there's more to him, obviously, more to him than just that. And I believe the Philippines, they actually know him and actually know more of him. So it's actually, I really want to actually kind of read up more about him. The way I actually found out about him is through this. I think I've talked about this before, but I should really mention it again because of how good it is. It's a series of videos based on a book of the 100 greatest people in history. 100 greatest. Let me actually just go into YouTube and try to find an English version of that, because I believe there is. The book that I know about is in Arabic. The videos I know about are in Arabic, but I believe they were translated into English. The 100 greatest. 1 second. Let me see if it's there. Please be there. 100 greatest people. It's not showing up. I can't find it, and it's really interesting because he's one of the. Lapa Lapa is one of the 100 talked about in that book, I believe. So let me actually just look at. I can't find it. Let me actually write in Arabic and then see if I can find it in English. Al-Ulama Al-Ma'a. There we go. 100 Great. Okay. The YouTube channel is called 100 Great. Awesome. Let me just write that down. Yeah, so the YouTube channel is just called 100 Great, and it has about 1 million subscribers. So if you go to their playlists, I believe you'll find an English translation. Yes, there is a playlist for an English translation of the videos, and man, is it awesome. Just, one of the like people mentioned was Lapu Lapu. Let me see if they translated his story in English. I can't find it here. No, I don't think they did, but they translated many other amazing videos into English, such as, the great characters of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and let me see. Barboza brothers, the legend of the Barboza brothers. Not Barboza, sorry, that's the anglicized name. The Barbarossa brothers. That's their real name. The character Redbeard, based off, Barboza, based off of Barbarossa, the real life character that existed. And also Sulaiman the Magnificent. All these great characters throughout history. And Abdurrahman as-Samit. Like so many great characters that are talked about. And also talks about the history of Christianity. With the Arius, the I believe the what's the proper term for him? Not necessarily priest. It's like a person who has a leader of the church back in the day. Arius, the man who changed history. He was, one of the very first, Christians who were. I just looked up what's his, what his, job title is, and it's not exactly priest. It's like presbyter, ascetic. It's something different. So, yeah, he was actually, he talked about, he was in the 3rd to 4th century, where he kind of like talked about a different kind of Christianity that talked about how Jesus was not necessarily God himself. God was only the Father, and he was unique. He was different. He was the one God. He didn't have another God with him. It's not a Trinity like the modern day Christians believe. But yeah, that's just different things. Historical Christian figures talked about. Especially that early stage where they were deciding which Christianity was the true Christianity, which idea was it? Is it Trinity? Is it the unity? Is it all different kinds of things? And Arius was talking about he kind of had the school of Arianism, where he talked about God not being a Trinity but rather one. So interesting things that this 100 Great series talks about. And Oh, by the way, guys, I'm thinking of actually talking about this interesting thing, because I like to read about different things, such as the things that I just mentioned, with Lapu Lapu, 100 grade, and Arius. One of the things that I like to just read about is like animals, because, I'm an animal lover. I like to read about animals. I love nature and all that stuff. And I'm just like looking through like lists of the most dangerous creatures on Earth. And man, it's ridiculous how dangerous the creatures on this earth are, and how we as humans can really just, neglect it at this point in history. We live so well to the point that we can just neglect the most dangerous creatures, such as, for example, jaguars. Jaguars, do you know how dangerous jaguars are? They're super strong, super fast, they can swim, and they're just, killing machines. If you try to run away, it's going to catch up to you. If you try to swim, it's going to swim and catch up to you. If you try to climb a tree, it's going to climb the tree and catch up to you. There's no way you can survive a jaguar encounter, basically, unless the jaguar has mercy on you, or you have a gun or some sort of weapon, or you're on, a car or a vehicle that can transport you away. That's jaguars. They're just so ridiculously strong and dangerous and deadly. And speaking of, big cats, tigers. Tigers are just jaguars times 2. But I don't think tigers can climb trees. They're super dangerous. They're super strong. They're like incredibly dangerous, incredibly deadly. Even deadlier than jaguars. But I don't think tigers can climb trees. Can they? Can tigers climb trees? Oh, there you go. I was wrong. Tigers can easily climb trees, but they seldom do so. Okay, that just made them even more dangerous. But can they swim? Can they swim? Like jaguars do. Tigers are excellent swimmers and don't avoid water. My God. So, tigers are not only as dangerous as jaguars, they're even more dangerous. They're even heavier. They're even stronger. They're even... Dang. Tigers are just... Nah. Don't meet a tiger in the wild. Just don't. Don't do it. And speaking of swimming in water, jellyfish. Yeah, it's kind of a weird, segue. But hey, jellyfish. They're one of the most dangerous creatures on Earth, such as the box jellyfish. Specifically, that is a very, very dangerous type of jellyfish. There's so many different kinds, so many different species. So weird. But the box jellyfish, it's dangerous. It's literally one of the most poisonous creatures on Earth. Let me actually read up more about how dangerous it is. Can you survive a box jellyfish sting? Box jellyfish stings can be fatal because of the creature's barbed tentacles containing venom, yada yada yada. Not all stings will cause death, but there isn't a conclusive number of deaths from box jellyfish each year because some believe not all fatalities are reported. Wait, let me just let me just read some more here. How fast can a box jellyfish kill you? You can die as quickly as 2 to 5 minutes. Awesome. Great. Man, dangerous animals here. And moving on to the lists of venomous, dangerous animals, snakes. You got snakes. You not only have the black mamba, or the black snake, or the freaking cobra, king cobra. You've got like pythons and anacondas. Bro, snakes are just... Why do snakes exist? They're too OP. They're too dangerous. You're just like walking in the forest, minding your own business, and then you get stung. You get bit by some random snake that popped out of nowhere. Or you could get spit at by a cobra, which can spit its venom at you, at your eyes, blinding you. Cobras can spit their venom accurately as well, from a distance. Man, I'm telling you, this earth has... Man, I really hope not to meet any of these. And speaking of dangerous creatures, spiders are also there. Why are they there? They're just so, they have to be there. They're good for the ecosystem, obviously, because the circle of life. You need all these kinds of animals to make sure that nothing gets out of control. But man, are they crazy? They're crazy. Spiders, man. Spiders are also dangerous. They're venomous, but I'm pretty sure they're not as venomous. Wait, most dangerous spider. Let me just write that. What's the most dangerous spider? Oh, there are a lot. So I'm on the website of Britannica, and it's showing me the Black Widow. It's showing me. Wait, whoa, what? Uh, More than 43,000 different species of spiders are found in the world. How come there's so many species of of the same animal? Dang. Okay. Of these 43,000 species, only a small number are said to be dangerous. Less than 30. Less than 1/10 of 1%. Wow. Have been responsible for human deaths. Wow. So it's few spiders. Awesome. But check this out. These. Oh my god. These are just. I'm going to number one. There's like 9 that are the most dangerous. I'm going to the number 1. Let's see. Funnel web spider. Oh, this dude looks like a tarantula. I don't know what the difference is. Let's see. Oh boy. Let's see how dangerous it is. The species Atrax robustus and A. formidabilis are large, brown, bulky spiders that are much feared in southern and eastern Australia. Of course, Australia, yes, of course. I guessed it. Oh, by the way, keep in mind, a lot of these most dangerous animals in the world, such as snakes and spiders and whatnot, and jellyfish, are in Australia. Why is Australia such a haven for such a hornet's nest for animals that are dangerous? All right. Several human deaths from the bites of these aggressive spiders have been recorded in the Sydney area since the 1920s. An antidote to the main toxin in their venom has been developed, which is effective if administered to victims soon after they have been bitten. Oh boy. All right, so we kind of the animals that I mentioned so far are kind of obvious. These are dangerous animals you'd expect to hear about on these lists. Like tigers, jellyfish, snakes, spiders, whatever, jaguars. Yeah, you'd expect these names. But did you expect that I'd have the animal squirrel on the list? I bet you did not, because I did not. I didn't know that squirrels are actually dangerous, and I don't mean dangerous as in they'll be aggressive and bite you and kill you or poison you. They're not venomous or anything like that. No, they're not like wild, such as tigers that they would attack you and kill you. No, the problem with squirrels is that they can carry the plague, just like rats and other rodents. Like mice as well. They can carry the plague. They can carry diseases and actually spread them and cause outbreaks. So squirrels can carry diseases, just like rats did, and rats wiped out basically a third of Europe. Millions of people died because of plague, and squirrels can just as easily carry the plague, apparently. Or maybe not just as easily, because I keep reading that they're, specifically the ground squirrel is the most, pervy to carry the disease, but squirrels still, in general, can carry the disease. Wow. So yeah, dangerous creatures. I love to read about them. I love not to meet them. Yeah, let's keep it at that. Keep the distance. I'll stay in my house, where I am very comfortable in. Maybe maybe a few spiders can come in, but not dangerous, because we're the UAE. We don't really have dangerous animals. We're the opposite of Australia. Maybe we can have a few, geckos, a few lizards come into the house because it's too hot outside right now since it's the summer. But yeah, that's about it. Not much more, really. Yeah, I'm comfortable staying here. But I'm thinking of going to Australia. I really hope I do. When I do go, I'm safe. I don't want to get hurt. Speaking of what I want to do in Australia if I go, Man, I really like to snorkel. Really like to go diving, scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef. Really like to go to these awesome places, where the water is so clean, where I can just enjoy the wildlife that's the marine wildlife that's in the coral reef and whatever I can find. But still, I have to be wary that there are a lot of dangerous things there. Like, probably, let me check if there's. Oh, another dangerous animal that I didn't mention that's probably in Australia: stonefish. The coral reefs are littered with stonefish, and they could probably. Ah, yes, they are in the Great Barrier Reef and Australian areas. So there you go. I have to be wary of those. I don't want to step on one of those because they're deadly. They're dangerous. They're fatal. Their poison is their venom is fatal to humans. So I need to be careful when I actually do go and dive. So can a stonefish kill you? The reef stonefish is the most venomous fish in the world. Oh boy. The coral reef is such a beautiful place with sponges, anemones, clownfish, Nemo and Dory type fish, beautiful, colorful things. But then there's these fish that have to ruin it. Like, I want to go and enjoy myself. I want to go and be happy, like look at all these colors, all these beautiful colors that I can see right now. Just, beautiful underwater water as I'm like swimming. But then these guys have to come and ruin everything. Oh boy. Let me see if there's other. The lionfish. I think the lionfish is another thing that can be found in the same area that is actually dangerous. Is it in the reefs? Is that where it lives? Let me check this out. The lionfish has many names. It's also called the zebrafish, which is funny because lions eat zebras, and so these two are kind of the opposite. And also firefish, turkeyfish, tasty fish, butterfly, cod. Yeah. So, yep, you'd find them everywhere basically. Mediterranean Sea, Caribbean Sea, the Atlantic, also the Pacific. That's where they're native to. But and also in Saudi Arabia, the Red Sea. I'd really love for them not to be here. But man, that's where they are. Poisonous things. They suck. They're just horrible. They're harmful to humans. Just get out of here. Oh boy. Anyway, I'd really love to go to Australia and see the beaches, just enjoy Australia. I'm not sure where to go. I think I'll go not to Sydney. That I haven't been to Sydney. I've been to other places in Australia in the past when I was a young kid, and I've really enjoyed it. And my cousins have went recently, like in more recent years, and they know where to go. They know the cool spots to go and hang out. So that's what I'm gonna be relying on my cousins to take me to the right places. Oh, speaking of poisonous fish, did you know that the pufferfish is a delicacy in Japan where you have to have, because the pufferfish is completely poisonous to eat, as it is venomous. So, you can't eat it, except for one part of it that is actually not poisonous, which is considered the delicacy to eat. And you need to have a very well-trained chef in order to be able to cut the pufferfish and extract that one part without it getting infected, without it getting, without it becoming unsafe to eat. And then that's the delicacy. People like to eat those things because, I don't know, exotic. But I get what they're doing. It's exotic, just trying to live on the edge kind of thing. Which is what I'm kind of doing when I'm saying I want to go scuba diving. I actually want to go scuba diving with sharks at some point as well. And I'm pretty sure Australia is the right place to do that. But not great whites. Okay, maybe great whites. Maybe because great whites are my favorite animal of all time, by the way. The great white shark is my favorite animal. And I may want to kind of go scuba diving with it someday. Even though it's dumb, it's a dumb risk. But hey, it's exotic. Kind of like what those people are doing when they're eating pufferfish. Poisonous pufferfish. So anyway, guys, this is the end of the podcast, basically. Yeah, as you noticed, I didn't talk about martial arts, mixed martial arts much this week because, I kind of want to keep it light. Talk about different things, other things. I already talked about mixed martial arts a bit in the beginning, but not really. And, obviously last weekend had this amazing card of UFC 263, which I'm going to talk about next week, in next week's episode. Not this week. Right now, just going to keep it light. Talk about whatever that came to mind, such as, animals, interesting figures in history, and whatnot. So, with that said, this was the Candlelight Podcast by yours truly, Mohamed Abdalla. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you come back for more. And once again, you don't get to the moon by yourself. See you guys in the next one. Peace.